Hey guys, Jim here again to give you guys another MMA fight prediction video, and this time I'm covering the UFC 156 heavyweight clash that features two top contenders and two former heavyweight champions. One former Strikeforce, Reem, and K1 heavyweight champion Alistair Overeem takes on former Elite XC heavyweight champion Antonio Bigfoot Silva. In this fight, one man's either going to get a UFC title shot or go up the rankings. Probably top 5. Now, I'm going to give you guys a backstory on what led to this fight, all the controversy, all the issues. Along with that, a full fight breakdown of the two fighters, how I see the fight going, and who I have coming out the victor. Now, without further ado, let's get this thing started right about now. Now, the fight between Alistair and Bigfoot Silva was actually supposed to take place a year ago during the September of 2011 Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix semifinals. Except Alistair could not square off at Bigfoot in his scheduled bout due to the injuries that he sustained in the Fabricio Verdum fight that he wanted to nurse up. Plus, he also didn't feel it was an adequate enough time to take the fight with a heavyweight of Bigfoot's caliber at that time. So for that reason, he was replaced by heavyweight alternate Daniel Cormier, who went on to knock out Bigfoot Silva and face the War Master Josh Barnett in Strikeforce Heavyweight Grand Prix finals in 2012. I mean, the fight with Cormier, I think Bigfoot did not take Daniel seriously enough. I think he took him lightly and he paid for it. If you don't believe me, watch the fight. Now, the problems for Alistair really started to heat up when his manager at the time, Golden Glory, and Zuffa could not come to agreement over fighter pay, because Golden Glory wanted the fighter pay paid to them so that they could A, pay the trainers and themselves, the management, along with, you know, helping the fighter out with taxes and escrow, because when you come to a foreign country you have a lot of things you have to work out, especially with pay, with the visa and all that type of stuff. They help with that. Now Zuffa, on the other hand, they want to pay the fighters directly. That's their policy. They pay the fighters, then the fighter pays the management, the trainers, the training partners, and handle all the rest of that jazz. Now, as they couldn't come to agreement, all of the Golden Glory fighters under contract were released from their contracts. That included Marlos Conan, Zergan Caratano, Donov Alibal, Alistair Overeem's older brother, Valentine Overeem, and Alistair himself were all released from their Zuffa contracts in both UFC and Strikeforce respectively. Now, for Alistair, he was out and he was looking for fights somewhere else. But nevertheless, Bass Boone intervened, made a deal with Zuffa, got Animal back in the UFC, got Alistair a fat contract with Zuffa. Nevertheless, Alistair, when he went to go sign the contract, since Bass wasn't there to read over everything, he hired a law firm to help him look at all the clauses and all the intricacies of the contract. And what he found in there was what he called a betrayal, you know. And really, people he had to do with money. And that's all there is to it. It was the money issue. Nevertheless, he split with them, and he had to find a new team, which was Extreme Couture and Kings MMA. But he still had some other legal issues he had to deal with Golden Glory as well coming into his next fight, which was scheduled to be against Brock Lesnar at UFC 141 main event, with the winner going on to face the winner of Junior Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez at the UFC on Fox 1 event. which we all know Junior Dos Santos knocked out Cain Velasquez in the first round by catching him in the ear with a punch, and not in Florida. They got the title. Now, Alistair, heading into that training camp, not only had to deal with legal issues with Golden Glory, he had to deal with his mother getting sick, so he had to move his training camp to Holland, and also the drug testing, because to get licensed in Nevada, you have to do drug testing and go through all the procedures and all that. Since he couldn't really go to Nevada and do all that type of stuff at the time, he went to some facility in Europe, got the testing done, and they gave him a conditional license. And then he went into his fight with Lesnar and completely dismantled him in the first round with knees, punches, and kicks to the body, and did exactly what he said he was going to do and send him back to the WWE and retire him. But I got to call that, though. Brock Lesnar came in with the worst game plan in history of the UFC. And the guys who work with Lesnar are very good. I respect Eric Paulson. I respect Marty Morgan. They're good at what they do. But at the same time, that was a dumbass game plan. Brock Lesnar is not Badahari. Brock Lesnar is not Junior Dos Santos. He's not Cain Velasquez. He is not a high-level striker. He is a wrestler. And what do wrestlers do? Wrestlers take people down and they pound their faces in the chopped meat. That's exactly what Brock had to do to win that fight. You know, slowing it down, striking Alistair is not a good idea, especially coming off that surgery that he had. And trust me, I know, when you're coming off a nasty surgery like that, from my experience, you do not go in there and do anything slow. You have to come out there very aggressive, controlled aggressiveness, and very fast, and ram it home and slow down gradually. I bet Brock wish he had Greg Nelson in his corner. Nevertheless, Alistair dismantled Lesnar and went on to face Junior Dos Santos in a scheduled bout. Well, hold on a second. Hold the phone. Well, he was set to face off at with JDS at UFC 146, but during the pre-fight press conference, he tested hot. You know, following the press conference, they had a little testing, random drug testing, and he tested hot because his TDE ratio was higher than Nevada allows, and it was even higher than the average human's TDE ratio, which is epitestosterone. He didn't test hot for steroids or anything. His testosterone levels were too high. Now, he did make a statement that, you know, he has never been somebody that was doping. He's always done it by the books, and he went into details about his training and all that regiment and what he did to gain his size and all that. It's very riveting. It's very riveting. It's very interesting and mind-boggling, but it wasn't enough to convince the commission of all that. But because what they were looking at when he went into a hearing for it was that he tested positive. Now, he did the right thing, got a good lawyer. Basically, he presented a good case. His doctor, in my opinion, was a major idiot, because how in the world do you not know what the hell you're giving your patient? You don't even know the name, you don't remember the medication you've given him? You gave him a vial or some cocktail or whatever, a bunch of different meds. And Alistair did not basically realize what he was putting into his body. And that's the one thing the commission made him very aware of. You were responsible for what you put in your body. But nevertheless, they cut his suspension down to 9 months, and he wouldn't be able to reapply until late this month or early next year. So he was out of his bout with Dos Santos and replaced with Frank Mir, and Bigfoot Silva, his opponent for UFC 156, was set to face off against Roy Nelson, but he was later switched to Cain Velasquez when the card got shuffled. And he got dismantled in the first round handily. and bloodied, and he was now on a 2-fight losing streak, which is not good in Zuffa at all. Because I mean, in his 3rd fight under Zuffa management against Travis Brown at UFC on FX in Minnesota, he had his back up against the wall and he delivered. I mean, albeit it was a fluke, but whatever. He knocked Travis out because Travis tweaked his knee. Bigfoot capitalized, knocked him down, and basically proceeded with the ground and pound to get the knockout or TKO victory. Now his job is safe. And now, you know, the Alistair Overeem fight was being put together. I mean, because he theoretically called out Alistair, you know. So because I mean, he's wanted this fight people for a very long time. He wanted to fight Alistair in 2010. It just didn't happen. And I'm pretty sure he was looking forward to facing Alistair in 2011. It just didn't happen. But now he's going to get the fight with Alistair next year at UFC 156. And the winner of this fight, like I said before, either gets a title shot or goes up the rankings. And what I mean by that, if Alistair wins, he gets to punch his ticket to the next title shot, whether it be against Junior Dos Santos or Cain Velasquez. If Bigfoot wins, he pushes his rankings up to the top 5, most definitely. I really do not believe they're going to give him another title shot. They're going to actually, well, he hasn't had a title shot yet at the UFC title, but they're not going to give him a direct title shot if he beats Alistair just yet, because Daniel Cormier is pretty much, if Alistair doesn't beat Bigfoot, is probably next in line to get the shot. But all of this depends on who comes out the winner of the heavyweight championship. If Cain wins and Bigfoot wins, I can tell you right now, they're not going to book Cain and Bigfoot too, because that's not going to sell tickets. Because that's just like watching another ass kicking, a bloody ass kicking. Who wants to see that again? We've already seen that. It's done. So that won't happen. And then I'm guessing they probably have to get the winner of Verdum and Nogueira possibly. But as I know, Daniels could probably move down and fight John Jones, but I would love to see Daniel Cormier versus Cain Velasquez, though. That would be very interesting. But it won't happen because, AKA, they have to protect each other, and they will go down in weight class to prevent fighting each other. But if Alistair wins, that's the best solution for everybody, because it doesn't matter who wins on the 29th, because either fight will sell. Alistair versus Junior will sell. Cain versus Alistair will sell money. So either one man is going to punch his ticket to a title shot, or one man is going up the rankings. But either way, the loser of this fight goes down a few notches to the bottom of the barrel. Specifically Bigfoot, because that would be 3-1 in the UFC. He'd be dangerously close. He had to put together a huge win streak to prevent getting cut. That's all I can say about that. But nevertheless, moving on, it's going to be an excellent fight. It's going to be the power and size of Bigfoot versus the accuracy and precision and technique of Alistair Overeem. Alistair has power, but Bigfoot is much stronger than Alistair, you know. So it is, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Now, let's move on to the official fight breakdown coming up next. Now, it's very apparent that Alistair Overeem has the striking advantage in this fight, because he was a K1 level striker. He defeated some of the best K1 had to offer. He defeated K1 bad boy Badahari, who was also the very first K1 heavyweight champion in the first round, the first time they fought. And he destroyed Evan Teixeira, especially with those knees of his, because he held Evan Teixeira's head and he kneed him and it was all over with. And that's the main reason that you're not allowed to do holding someone's head and kneeing them anymore in K1, because Alistair damn near almost killed Evan Teixeira with that technique. It was cool to watch, but it sucked for Evan Teixeira, obviously. Now, he also went on to win the K1 Grand Prix 2010 heavyweight tournament in the final 16 when he defeated Ben Edwards, the Oceanic K1 Grand Prix heavyweight champion, in the first round by knocking him down twice with his hands, and by defeating Tyrone Spong in the quarterfinals. It really turned it on Spong in the third round, and by breaking the arm of Gokhan Saki in the semifinals, and then meeting Peter Ertz in the finals and knocking him out for this, and basically beating him for the second time in his career, and won the K1 Grand Prix heavyweight tournament of the final 16 2010 championship. Now, besides his striking credentials, he also is no slouch on the ground either, because he won the ADCC European Trials of 2005 championship, because he went 3-0, all wins by guillotine choke. And ADCC, for you who don't know, is the Abu Dhabi Combat Club, a very prestigious grappling club who hosts a lot of excellent grappling tournaments against some of the best grapplers in the world, where they go to meet to find out who the best is on the ground. Now, besides that, in mixed martial arts, Alistair has a record of 36 with 11 losses and 1 no contest, with 15 of his victories coming by knockout and 19 by submission, and most of them being by guillotine choke. I mean, there's some Americanas and arm bars in there, and I think 1 Kimura. Now, Bigfoot Silva is going to have a huge advantage on the ground because he is a BJJ black belt. He is also a black belt in karate and judo. Now, his main thing is he has powers in his hands, yes. He has decent Muay Thai, he has decent boxing. It's not on Alistair's level, but it should not be estimated, because he did knock out Travis Brown. He knocked out Tom Erickson by TKO. He also pounded Fedor Emelianenko's face in the chop meat and secured the TKO and doctor stoppage. And he went on to destroy Mike Kyle by TKO in their fight in the second round. So he's no slouch when it comes to knockout power at all. And he has a record of 17-4 with 13 knockouts, or should I say 12 knockouts and 3 submission victories. Now, the thing about it is, though, he is very susceptible to right hands. That's the one thing I noticed with Bigfoot Silva. He's very susceptible to right hands, specifically Eric Pele, who knocked him down with a right hand and finished it up, with punches to get the TKO victory, because that was his first loss. Not to mention, he also got rocked by Mike Kyle with the right hand, and Kyle held him down for the rest of the round because of that right hand that rocked him. And then Daniel Cormier hit him with a right hand to start off his onslaught, and he later on went on to knock out Bigfoot in the first round. Another thing is, Cain Velasquez showed that speed and precision can also defeat Bigfoot too, because Cain took him down and pounded his face in, bloodied him, and then when the fight was restarted, because they stood it up because he was bleeding profusely. The doctor looked at it, he said he could fight, so he went back down in the position that he was in, and then Kane proceeded with the onslaught and finished him by TKO. Now, Alistair is going to enjoy this because Alistair has heavy hands. He's got great right hand, great knees, and I could very well see him doing what he did the Brock or top W to Bigfoot. I could really see that. But the question is Alistair's cardio and ring rust issues right about now, because he hasn't fought in over a year, and then if it goes past 2 rounds, I'm not sure he's going to be able to stand up with Bigfoot for too long. Because in the Redoom fight, he got tired. He got very tired, I think, in the 3rd round. Especially after the fight, you see him breathing heavy. He was tired, man. So if I'm Bigfoot Silva, I'm going to basically, you know, fight a smart fight. I mean, a smart fight. And wait to the 3rd round, get him to the ground, because what Bigfoot's going to do, he's going to hold him against the cage, hit his knees, strike him a little bit, try to get him to the ground, and ground and pound, or get a submission victory. You know, that's what he likes to do. He likes to ground you to the ground, like get to ground and pound, or go for a submission when he gets you on the ground. For Alistair, in this fight, he has to defend the submissions if he gets on the ground and get back to his feet as soon as possible. But if it's there, I don't really recommend this. Go for a guillotine choke on the ground, pull full guard. If you can get it, you can get it, and squeeze the hell out of Bigfoot. Or if it's there, get an Americana. I don't really see him getting either on the ground anyways. But I do see him destroying Bigfoot on the feet, you know, and basically wounding him enough to get a standing guillotine choke, which he's pretty much guaranteed to probably squeeze the life out of him there, because that's more pressure and more leverage that way for him. Now, my official prediction for this fight is that Alistair Overeem destroys Bigfoot Silva in 2 rounds. If it goes past the 3rd round, Bigfoot wins this fight, in my opinion. But Alistair will defeat Bigfoot viciously with punches, knees, and kicks to the body to secure a victory, and punch his ticket for the heavyweight championship fight in 2013 against the likes of either Junior Dos Santos or Cain Velasquez, depending on who wins Saturday in Vegas. But I like his chances against Junior Dos Santos. I'm a little bit more cautious for his chances against Cain Velasquez. But that's just my opinion. I'm pretty sure we'll have to see how everything plays out and who wins. Because if Bigfoot wins, he's not going to get a title shot automatically. Cormier's going to get the shot if Junior wins. But if Cain wins, he's probably going down. And then I'm probably guessing that if Cain wins and Bigfoot wins and Daniel goes down, that it's probably going to come down to the winner of Redoom and Nogueira, who gets the next title shot. That's just my guess. But regardless, my official prediction is Alistair Overeem, and that ends the UFC 156 fight prediction between Alistair Overeem and Antonio Bigfoot Silva. I'm Jim, signing off. Keep on watching the fights, people, and I will see you guys later. Till then, peace.